Alright, let's talk about angle relationships in general. Yep. They allow us to determine unknown angle measures. I'm having trouble writing while I'm looking through the camera. Remember that all the angles around, no, knock my paper over, around an intersection will add up to 360 degrees. So anytime you have a problem like this, you got to look for what you know and what you're looking for. The first problem, number 7, says write and solve an equation to determine the measure of angle K. Well, the things that I know, the numbers that I know for sure so far are 60 and 40. Here's angle K. If I look at those three, and just those three, I ignore M and P, I've got a straight line. These three all together, if you put them adjacent to each other, make up a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. So 180 degrees, that's 60 plus 40 plus whatever K is. That equals 180 degrees. So we can combine similar terms. 60 and 40 is 100 degrees. Plus whatever angle K is 180 degrees. If I take away the 100, I get that angle K is 80 degrees. Sometimes it's good to write things down that you know. Like, I know altogether these two make 100 degrees. And this guy here is 80 degrees. It wants me to know now what angle M is. And I have two options that I can see. The first option is, let's see, I know angle M, and I know what angle, I don't know angle M, that's what I'm looking for. I know what angle K is, and if I look at those two, I've got a straight line. I can do the same kind of thing. I can say that whatever angle M is, plus 80 degrees, is 180 degrees. So take away the 80. And you've got that angle M is 100 degrees. The other option, let me write it up there. If I combine these two and I see that's 100, if I can then ignore this central ray, and what I have is an intersection of just two lines, and directly opposite angle M is an angle that's 100 degrees. Those are vertical angles from each other. Now, this 40 is not vertical to anything that's drawn. The 60 is not vertical to anything that's drawn. But if I ignore the ray between them, the whole sum of those two angles, that angle is vertical to angle M. So I didn't even have to write this equation if I can recognize that. Right here, we know this is 32 degrees. We know that. That's a number that we know. I'm going to underline it. Something else we know is that this is like a little square or a rectangle here that's been drawn. That means this is a right angle from here to here. That means this piece is 90 degrees. I'm going to write that in. It wants to know what the measure of angle G is. Well, angle G is right there. And look what happens with that 32, 90, and angle G. It just so happens to create a straight line. So 32 plus 90 plus angle G is 180 degrees. 32 and 90 is 122 plus angle G is 180. Let's get rid of the 122. It's hard to write through the camera lens. 80 minus 22 is 58. Based on the information there, how could you figure out angle J? Well, now that I know that G is 58 degrees, look what G and J make together. 180. So you could do that. Or if you ignore this middle line, the sum 32 and 90, that's 122, and that's vertical angle now to this angle J. So either way you want to think about it, whether angle J plus 58 is 180, or if you want to think about vertical angles, you can get the same answer. That angle J is 122 degrees. And last but not least, we have this really cool thing where you've got 3 lines that are intersecting. If you can find, like, let's ignore this horizontal line. You've got basically a planal intersection, 112, 112. Whatever the sum is here should be the same as the sum over here. If I ignore this diagonal line, whatever angle Z is the same as this guy up here. And the sum of 29 and 112 should be the sum over here. Oh, look, 112 is going to have to be a 29. These guys are vertical. If we ignore this one right here, you got 29 over here and here. You don't really have to ignore it, but sometimes it's easier just to see 2 lines at a time. If for vertical angles, they will share 2 lines, and they will be across from each other. So 29, this means this guy's also 29. 112, that's also 112. And we're going to find angle Z. So hey, let's go with the things they gave us. 29, Z, and 112. All together that makes a straight line, this guy right here. So we know that 29 plus Z, oops, should have an angle in front of it. Should technically have an M for the measure of angle Z, but I haven't been doing that. 112, all that adds up to 180. 29 and 112 is, if I add these guys together, 121, 141. Yeah, okay. Subtract the 141, and you get that angle Z is 39 degrees. And there it is, 39 degrees. 39 degrees, 29 degrees, 112 degrees. The other cool thing you could do is I could use vertical angles, which is what I did when I labeled the other 112 and the other 29. I could add everything I know up, because I know everything around the whole thing's got to add up to 360. I can subtract the things I do know, and whatever I'm left with I could divide. So, however makes most sense to people.